In the end, Dexter New Blood made its debut on Showtime in November of last year. Hall played Dexter Morgan again, and Phillips was the show's executive producer. Together, they worked on a story in which Morgan lived in the made-up town of Iron Lake and tried hard to control his serial killer tendencies. The 10-episode continuation got mostly positive reviews from both fans and critics, but the ending again got mixed reviews. But Dexter New Blood might not be the last movie in the series. First up, Dexter franchise won't end with New Blood, hints Paramount exec. David Nevins, an executive at Paramount, talks to THR about a wide range of topics, including the future of Dexter. New Blood was a big hit for Paramount Media Networks, which owns Showtime, and Nevins is asked what brands and franchises he'd like to develop further. In his answer, which is shown below in full, the executive hints that there could be more Dexter. "I'm working on a lot of different things. I don't want to talk about things until it's time. A lot of things exist. What is next for the Dexter series? I'm working hard on that." Hall, for his part, has said that he wouldn't mind if his role came back in the future. Even though his contract doesn't force him to come back and he's happy with how things ended, he said he would never say never. Phillips said that he thought Dexter was a good thing for Showtime and that he would be happy to do a spin-off about Dexter's son, Harrison. It's not a surprise that both Nevins and the people who work more closely with the franchise sound so positive. The continuation got more viewers as it went on, and when it first came out, it broke streaming records for Showtime. Jack Alcott has said that he would like to come back for a spin-off about Harrison. This could be a way to keep the Dexter universe going without having to bring back Hal for another retelling. Many long-running pop culture favorites have kept going by switching the focus to other characters, while others are so tied to the original cast that new projects have a hard time getting going. We don't know what will happen or if the Paramount executive will get his wish, but it's good news for fans that people at the top want to keep the franchise going. Despite the continuation, why do some fans consider Season 4 the series finale? In Season 4 of Dexter, the title character, a serial killer, faced his worst enemy yet. Dexter Morgan and the Miami Metro PD spent Season 4 looking for the Trinity Killer, also known as Arthur Mitchell, who had been killing in cycles for over 30 years. Season 4 of Dexter is considered the best of the series because of how interesting Dexter's journey as a family man is, how suspenseful it gets as he befriends Trinity and then turns against her, and how devastating the ending is. When Dexter gets home after finally killing Trinity, he finds out to his horror that his wife was the last person Arthur killed. Rita was dead, and it seemed like the dark passenger cycle had moved on to Dexter's son, Harrison. Harrison was found crying in a pool of Rita's blood as Season 4 came to a close. This was similar to how Dexter got his start, which was also a dark story. When Dexter New Blood tried to give the series a new ending, it was similar to this closed circle, but it also went back to the idea that Harrison had his own killer instincts. As Dexter faced more bad guys in later seasons, none of the endings could match the tragic and poetic ending of Season 4. One of the most controversial things about the show is how Dexter Morgan should end up. Some people think that the anti-hero should pay for his crimes, while others say that he's really helping society by catching killers who get away from the law. Season 4 of Dexter may have been the best of both worlds, because the title killer was still alive and on a path to continue his vigilantism for revenge, but he also got a painful punishment by making sure that his wife and child would die because of something he did. The end of Season 4 of Dexter was the best example of the show's main question. Is it worth it for Dexter to kill so many killers if that means that his loved ones will die? The villains and endings of Season 5 through 8 of Dexter couldn't match the impact and suspense of the fight between Dexter and Trinity. If Dexter had ended up on a good note at the end of Season 4, the show's legacy would not have been ruined by two disappointing endings and character inconsistencies. This is why many fans consider The Getaway to be the unofficial series finale. Moving on, New Blood's runaway killer in the show versus real life. The Dexter New Blood runaway killer true story is based on real events, but it is not a direct copy. The main difference between Caldwell and Hansen is that Caldwell has rituals for embalming people, and Hansen has sexual aspects. Hansen never put his victims in coffins, but he did have a strange ritual in which he put an X on a map to show where they were killed. On the other hand, Kurt Caldwell from New Blood doesn't have a sexual fixation on his victims. He showed and said he was disgusted when Chloe started taking off her clothes in front of the camera. Hansen, on the other hand, made sexual assault and violence a part of his MO. Police found that his killing was partly caused by the fact that women often turned him down. The way one of the runaway killer's victims was found in Dexter New Blood seems to have been inspired by the butcher baker. In the 6th episode of Dexter New Blood, Too Many Tuna Sandwiches, Angela and Teddy search the caves of Iron Lake and find her best friend Iris's body buried under a pile of rocks. Iris has been missing for decades. One of Hansen's real-life victims, who helped police find him, was also found in a gravel pit, buried under rocks. Also, neither Kurt Caldwell from New Blood nor the real-life person who inspired Butcher Baker were taken seriously as suspects until more bodies were found. Next, Dexter is based on a real serial killer and has also inspired one. Not only is the Dexter New Blood runaway killer true story a mix of fact and fiction, but so is the serial killer who inspired Dexter Morgan. The show also inspired a real-life killer to start killing people, which is kind of scary. The character of Dexter is mostly based on Pedro Rodriguez Filho, a serial killer from Brazil. Like Dexter, the killer said he only killed other killers and criminals and never innocent people. Filho was found guilty of 71 murders, but he probably did more than 100. Dexter, on the other hand, tallied over 140. Some people thought Filho was just out for revenge, but he also killed criminals who hadn't been caught yet. For example, he killed a man who fired his father after accusing him of stealing food. He then killed the real food thief. Even though some of his victims didn't actually do anything wrong, most people think he killed anyone who didn't follow his strict moral code, just like Dexter or Harrison. The scariest thing about Dexter is that he was the reason a real serial killer in Canada started to do bad things. Mark Twitchell, who is known as the Dexter Killer, liked the show so much that he had his own Facebook page for Dexter fans. He often put himself in Dexter's place and talked about his work as if it were his own. The aspiring filmmaker scared a man by pretending to be a woman looking for a date on Plenty of Fish so he could get him to come into his garage. He killed the man, of course, and was caught in 2008. He was charged with killing John Bryant Atlinger the same day he was caught. In Dexter and Dexter New Blood, many of the serial killers are based on real people, like the Trinity Killer and Dexter himself. Finally, Clyde Phillips' original Dexter ending plan. After Dexter's controversial Season 8 ending in 2013, Clyde Phillips told EW that if he had stayed on the show, he would have pitched a very different ending. Phillips wanted the last scene of Dexter to show Dexter waking up on the executioner's table at Florida Penitentiary. The audience would have thought it was all a dream, but the camera would have panned out to show that it wasn't. Dexter would open his eyes, and as the drugs that would kill him were given to him, he would look out the window to the observation gallery and see every person he had ever killed or was responsible for killing. Phillips explained that everyone who had died in an episode, including the ice truck killer, the Trinity Killer, Rita, La Guerta, Dokes, and Leela, would be there, from the small victims who died every week to the people who died in the big episodes. The last scene of the original Dexter show would have shown everything that had happened over the last 8 seasons in just a few seconds, with Dexter's life flashing before his eyes as he was put to death for his crimes as the Bay Harbor Butcher. The original plan for Dexter's dark ending would have been a much simpler and less controversial way to end the story of the serial killer. Unfortunately, guys, that's all the time we had for today. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, cheers.